Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Super excited to do a continuation today of the alien video that I last did. It was really interesting because I got a lot of comments and really just clarifying questions. So I did reach out to Nathan to just get some additional information. So I'm super excited to go over that today. As well as an additional alien story that I was able to find. So all very exciting stuff. But I do want to address the elephant in the room, which is this hair, okay? Let's talk about it for a minute, shall we? So having been in quarantine for a year, basically, I finally was like, I gotta cut my hair. So the back and side is shaved, and I got this brilliant idea that I would do it myself. And needless to say, the results are not great. I'm like, that's it. I'm growing my hair out. And I have a friend who actually makes custom wigs and designs them for like drag queens and stuff, but also does regular work as well. And so I reached out and decided to get this beauty made, which I plan on rocking until my hair stops being stupid, basically, which, is never going to happen. Or it will. It's just gonna take a very long time. So dumb. Anyway, it's fine. I love this. The company is called Locks by Lilac. Definitely check them out. Wonderful work. And yeah, this turned out so good. Anyway, so definitely, if you are in the market for a wig, I highly recommend Locks by Lilac. But anyway, so let's get right into it. So I reached out to Nathan because, and I'm just going to read through the conversation. I feel like that'll be easier. So people have asked what you meant by hybrids. Can you elaborate on that? To which he responded, hybrid refers to beings that seem to be a mix of us and them. In my case, they are beings with human features and alien features. Human flesh tones and hair, often they're blonde in my case. However, they have larger heads and big eyes compared to humans. They wouldn't pass for humans on the street. And so I asked, so do you think they have procreated with us and that's why they're hybrids? And he said it's more cloning and genetic engineering, so not a purposeful mix, if you will. There are many cases of women abductees who have been shown hybrid babies and told they were their own children. In fact, sometimes this happens and there is a missed pregnancy or one that begins and goes to an early term, then gets taken. That's not my case, but it's scattered throughout abduction literature. So I did not know that that was a thing. Super not okay. Yikes. I did ask him, did they ever tell you what they're called? And also what happened in Colorado, because he never elaborated on that for me. He said, no, I call them what they appear to be, Nordic, mantis grays. I was born in Colorado in 1984 and moved in 89 to 90. Even at that early age, I have memories of interaction with many of the same entities I described. Probably had my first abduction around 3 and then another around 5. So whatever was going on was very early childhood, yikes. So then I asked him to elaborate. So tell me a little bit about your adult life. Like, where do you live now? What experiences do you have? He said, I'm in Ohio now. I believe my last abduction was in late 2011. And since then, I mostly deal with dreams and nightmares and out-of-body experiences. Sometimes I get more apparition-like manifestations and apparent shadow figures. Despite this, I try to live as normal a life as possible. It is challenging, though. I did ask, why do you think you haven't had an abduction since 2011? He said, I have a feeling it has to do with where I was in life at the time. I'm not really sure, but I suppose I needed to get a better grasp of just what was going on with them. I only recently even began to come to terms with my experience in the first place. So a lot of trauma obviously associated with that. Yikes. And I asked anything else you would like me to share. He said, tell them to know whatever they think I'm not lying. Tell them to test the spirits. And he said, in parentheses, good advice. So I'm not sure what that means. I asked, how do you test the spirits? What does that mean? He said, I suppose it means just don't take them at their word. If they come claiming to have created us or tell us they're from a far away star system or wanting anything really, don't just accept it. Make them prove it. If they aren't at least allegiant to the light, good, or freedom and individuality, don't trust them. So it kind of seems like, I feel like he's sort of had, he's experienced the good and the bad, and it seems like in general, not a fun thing to experience, which is so scary. But yeah, so basically from, being a young child, I couldn't imagine. I did have a friend from another paranormal group that I follow who saw the alien video and was like, I want to add to it. So this is Lynn's story, and I actually thought this was pretty cool and a little more lighthearted than Nathan's. So I have to say, it was the day I found out for sure that aliens exist. I was invited to go for a fishing outing with my friend and her family. Right before dark, we packed up, and my girlfriend and I took the load and her 2 girls and headed to the car. We had to walk through a farmer's field to get to the car. The girls ran on ahead and were sitting on the hood of the car waiting for us when all of a sudden, a UFO came from the sky and hovered above my friend and I in the field. It was like 100 feet above us and lit up the whole field. The girls started screaming. My friend dropped her load and took off running, and for some reason I couldn't move. The whole time I'm thinking, come on legs, get us out of here. But I was frozen with all of them yelling for me to run. Then, just as fast as it came, it was gone. Straight up it went lightning fast. That's the honest truth. Years have gone by, and I wondered if it was something I dreamt. And I ran into my friend and I asked her. Her eyes got wide and she confirmed it was real and not a dream. I've talked to her girls too, and they remember it as well. So would love an explanation for this one, right? Like, you're in the middle of a field, all of a sudden a supposed UFO appears, and what is it? It's there 1 second, gone the next. I couldn't imagine. That's terrifying. But what do you guys think it is? What could it have possibly been, right? But with that many witnesses, isn't it interesting? I always think it's really interesting when UFOs in general are sort of seen, like, if that many people saw it, it had to be there. So the question is, well, what is it, right? Like, what did they see? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. So that's really it in terms of alien stories, but I thought this was really an interesting topic to just get into. And I personally have never seen a UFO or anything like that, but I did have a dream about aliens that scared me so much that I remember it as if it happened yesterday. I was 9 years old, I think, at the time. And so this, actually, if you remember the old farmhouse, right, from my video. So my grandma at the time had fallen ill, like her health was not great. And in the dream, basically what happens is I'm at the farmhouse and aliens show up, and they were totally like the stereotypical, tall, thin gray men in the, the round UFO. And I remember like we were running from them, and my grandma, like one of them had caught me in its tractor beam, and my grandma grabbed me and like ripped me out of it. And I remember the alien like stabbing her in the leg with some kind of weapon, and it froze her so she couldn't move. I was free now, and she just kept yelling for me to run, but she couldn't move. And they beamed her up into the UFO, and it took off into the sky and was gone. This dream absolutely terrified me, and I was like so certain, like my grandma basically sacrificed herself for me. And I always wondered what it meant, if it meant anything. All I know is it was a very traumatizing dream. I hated it, and I just thinking about it now, no, it was awful. I remember waking up from that nightmare just covered in sweat, like crying hysterically. Like I was so worried about my grandma that something had really happened to her. It was awful. So that's my one little anecdotal alien nightmare story for you. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my video. I am glad to be back. Sorry for the skipped week. Finally feeling better, thank goodness. I know it's like snowmageddon out there everywhere. It's just, there's so much going on right now. I hope you all are surviving the pandemic. Don't try to cut your own hair. You will regret it. But hey, I mean, you could get like, you know, this great wig. So really, is it that bad? Probably not. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And as always, stay spooky.